Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his Monday guest, Emil, about to be daddy number 2 on Thursday, we hear. So congratulations to you and your wife.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Remember me now while I still have sleep and I look okay. Next couple of weeks are going to be rough for me. So
there you go. There you go. Well, hey, something we've done in the past and we're going to do today is we're going to flip the script. I'm going to let you take over and ask me questions about anything you would like. Because sometimes that's just fun to do. So the show is yours.
All right, cool. I want to ask you about property management. We talked about it last time. I'm in the thick of it. I'm actually in the process of changing new property managers after we spoke. So it was kind of, sometimes when you talk about it, it just lights the fire under your butt. So
I think you answered your own question last time. I was just there to listen going, yeah, I think you're right. I think you need to do that.
Sometimes it helps to just talk about it and, saying it out loud, you're like, okay, the answer is really obvious.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, yeah, I get it. You got to, talk with someone, respect, and just get it out. So I was glad to be there for you.
Well, thank you. What I want to start with, how did you, when you were looking for property managers and you didn't have a large unit count, like obviously now you carry a lot of weight with your property manager, right? Sure. Like you can tell them to change something and they're going to listen to you.
Yes.
When you had, let's call it less than 10 doors, what were some things you kind of did to, I don't want to say gain leverage, but like get property managers to take you seriously and things like that?
Well, I guess first and foremost, I never thought about it that way. It wasn't about getting weight and getting discounts and any of that. They're in the business of making money. What I thought about was the money wasn't important, right? I was buying an asset that cash flowed 2.5 hours away that I just couldn't interact with. So I wasn't thinking about grinding them, but I was being very clear on my expectations. Before I signed that property management agreement, I wanted to understand, I expect to be told this. I want to talk to, weekly this. I want to know, who do I call? Who do I escalate to? What are the limits? I wanted to have all of those conversations up front. So I wasn't going into this thinking about, because I didn't, again, when we had 4, 5, 6, 8 units, I never thought we'd have 20 units. I mean, it's just what I was always about the next one, right? Hence one rental at a time.
Yeah.
So maybe I just never thought that way about getting a discount, which certainly happened. I think we got our first discount at 20 and then got more as we got bigger. But I was very clear on communication, expectations, escalations. How are you going to communicate? Because when I started doing this, there wasn't apps. There wasn't even really texting, right? It was, I expect to be called. I expect a weekly call here, or maybe in the beginning when it was only 2 houses, it was like, we'll talk every other week, or, things like that. So for me, it was expectations for me to them. Who is my point of contact? Who is the escalation? And, when are you going to reach out for approvals or whatnot? So that's kind of what I remember from 10 years ago.
Well, even you asking for a call bi-weekly or whatever that is, I think that's asking them to take you seriously. Like, I don't know how many property managers would necessarily, maybe they would, I've never even asked for it. I would personally love that, to have like a bi-weekly call, or at least bare minimum monthly call to
I think you, especially if you're doing out of state, if you're not setting clear expectations. Now, if you're working with your property manager, don't have the call between the 1st and the 7th. That is the busiest time. Be sensitive, right? They're collecting rent, they're doing late pays, they're posting notices. But yeah, I mean, having a call on the 15th, because they're probably cutting you your check, your proceeds check, around the 12th, 13th.
Yeah, mid-month-ish.
So, I think having a call right before or right after that check is cut is a great time, right? Okay, thank you very much for my $1,800. How was the month? How was this? How was that? And again, in the beginning, we always said a half hour. We never used it all. I would tell you my average call was 10 minutes or less. When you have 2 or 3 tenants in their houses, most calls are like, nope, they paid rent on time. No repair issues. Oh, cool. Done. Click. And then I would tell them, hey, oh, by the way, I'm looking at it. Because again, it's two-way communication. Again, they're telling me, but I would also tell them, hey, I'm looking at a property on this street. I just wrote an offer. we're in contract. So I would give them information as well.
Got it. Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what things would you guys talk about on these calls typically?
So first it would be, did they pay rent?
Yep.
If not, have you started notice? What was the excuse? Where are we in the 3-day, right? What's going on? Are there any back pay, right? Did we bill them back? Like, hey, they broke a window. Well, I paid it for the first time. I see that on my thing. Have we billed them back, right? Because they'll owe next month. So stuff like that. And sometimes we talked. It's like, hey, window broke. We can't tell if it happened from the outside or the inside. Because if it's inside, it's clearly tenant. Outside, there could have been other forces.
Right.
So we had those conversations. Then we talked about lease renewals, right? When are their lease renewals coming up? What are we going to do, right? And, years ago, it's, hey, they paid rent on time for 12 months in a row. What do you want to do? I'm like, send them a thank you card or coffee card or, a welcome mat. And we're not raising rent. But, now with California rent control, I have to raise rent. So lots of things. We talked about rent increases. We talked about new properties coming. We talked about if it was a vacant unit, how many apps, what kind of apps, who met the criteria, who didn't, all of those things. Oh, by the way, I see a $400 plumbing charge. Where's my pictures, right? Because I always wanted a before and after pictures if it made sense, right? If it's, I asked for it, doesn't always happen, but hey, where's the charge? Oh, by the way, that was an awful expensive bid. Did we really get 2 bids? What were the other bids? It's just checks and balances to show them that you are watching your money. Those kinds of stuff.
Got it. How about, like you just mentioned, getting multiple bids? Did you have a clear expectation? Hey, I want, some property managers will have in-house maintenance. So like all maintenance stuff gets handled in-house. But in terms of like things that they had to go to a vendor, did you have a requirement for, I want 2 bids minimum?
Yeah, I want to say in the beginning, anything over $500 had to get 2 bids.
Okay.
Right. Other than emergency, sometimes emergencies,
Sure.
you just roll with whoever can come first, like a water, whatever it is, water, fire, blood kind of things. But yeah, I think in the beginning it was $500 every time. Now, one bid could be in-house, but I had to have a second bid.
Okay. And how about a property manager who started out well for you? Did you ever have a property manager who, like, things were going well for years and it went downhill? Why did they go downhill? What did you do?
Yeah. So I actually split my portfolio up for about 5 years, almost 50-50 unit count wise. And it worked great. Right. I always told myself I wanted an, oh shit, like so-and-so won the lottery and they're done. Right.
Yeah.
Instead of hit by the bus, right. Won the lottery. But what happened is that individual, their primary income was a real estate agent or a broker. And the market turned and they were making a lot more money selling properties, and property management clearly became keep the lights on money, less interesting. I tried to pass me off to someone else I didn't know, and didn't have the expectations, didn't have the process. And I frankly didn't want to build it again. And I called the person who was my point of contact and frankly owner. I told him of my displeasure and he was like, I don't know what to tell you. I got no more time. I'm making bank over here. Now, these are my words, not his. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, I'm leaving. I don't have time to train this new person. You'll get a notice per our agreement, but just so you know, we're done. And I'm going to go to the other place. So yeah, it happened. It happens. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know why you give that advice to, like, make sure your property manager is solely focused on property management. Makes sense now. So you had a backup. Do you currently only have everything with one property manager, or is it split again?
No, one again, they're very big. I have a lot of units. I'm one of their large top 3 clients, but they have 20,000 units in the city. So they're huge. A lot of that's HOA, but still units. So they're not going anywhere.
Right.
When I went to the company in the very beginning, we were the largest. They probably had 5 employees. Now I think they have 80 employees. So they're going to be around forever. The person that I know, the owner, who's a family friend, even if he retired, there's infrastructure behind him. In fact, I haven't dealt with him as part of the company in years. I talked to him, but I talked to him as a friend. So yeah, I'm not concerned about that now. They're like, they won't be, but I mean, they're big enough where if they wanted, they can go public, at least on some level. So
I've never heard of a property manager with 20,000. Usually you
yeah,
talk to them, they're like 1 to 2,000 maybe.
yeah, I don't know what the split is. This is my guess. I could ask, but haven't. I think they've got 12 or 14,000 just HOA units, right? Condo associations.
Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, they're doing okay.
That's great. Honestly, those were the ones top of mind for me in terms of like property management questions I had as I'm coming
Yeah,
on
the
to
last thing
this.
I want to say, just so others hear it, is property manager for me is the number one team member, even more important than agents, because they really will they could make your life miserable or easy. And in the beginning, right, the cash flow was, in my world, pennies, right? It wasn't
Mhm.
really pennies, but it didn't make a difference.
Right.
Um, but they could make my life horrible, right? I've told everybody I fired the first 4 or 5 property managers, because even if we had 2 units, if you're making my life miserable and I'm in Australia or Brazil or France, that's not what I pay you for,
Right.
right? Don't steal from me. Don't lie to me. Um, do what you say you're going to do, and meet my expectations. It's not that hard, but you'd be surprised how hard it is for some.
I completely agree. I mean, your agent's finding you a property and then your property manager has to deal with it for years and you have to
For
deal with them for
years and
years.
years and years. Yeah.
I'm the same. Like I used to kind of look for who's the cheapest and you get what you pay for and you find that quickly
Yeah.
backfires.
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, I was never about that. Hey, do me a favor. Give me 9 versus 10, do me this versus that. I was like, whatever you want. I build it in my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
We're good. Now, of course, when I got bigger, I asked for, and frankly, they offered, because they wanted to keep me. Right. So,
Right.
but yeah, I pay a lot less than 10% now.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
This was super helpful.
Well,
Appreciate it.
congratulations on baby number 2. Do you know boy or girl?
We're having a boy. Number 1 was a girl. So now we're having a boy. We get one each.
There you go. You got the set, man. Congratulations.
That's right. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks for the time. Enjoy the week, and congratulations. And make sure you take care of the wife. She's doing all the hard work.
That's right. That's my number 1 job is take care of wife.
There you go. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.